Hello, I'm Dr. Vanita Rattan. I'm a doctor, but also a cosmetic formulator specifically for skin of color. So today's video is where acne is on the face and what does it mean. We're going to talk about why you get acne, how diet has any input, and the latest studies. We're going to talk about key actives that you want to use, lifestyle changes, a great skincare routine, and at the end, the biggest mistakes being made with acne. Don't forget, I am in the comment section for 1 hour at the launch of every YouTube video. So when you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell so you know that I'm here. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and ask me more questions. That's Dr. Vanita Rattan. You can follow me on TikTok as well. And also we have a private Facebook group called Dr. V Sock Family. It's such a great place to just come and talk about your own skincare journey. If you are a skincare enthusiast, please do get your hands on a copy of Skin Revolution. It's a book that I wrote and has been published by HarperCollins, and it is my love letter to my Skin of Color family. So I hope you enjoy this too. So first of all, what causes acne? There's an increase of androgen hormone, which increases your sebum production. You also have something called hyperkeratinization happening. That's when skin cells start to become sticky, and that's what tends to clog the pore. Now, this creates an anaerobic environment where P. acnes bacteria will feed on the sebum and produce free fatty acids. Now, those fatty acids are very irritating, and that's what leads to inflamed acne. That's the pain that you feel. And when you're feeling pain, especially in skin of color, it tends to trigger our melanocytes. Those are cells producing the pigment melanin. So now we are left with the acne, red marks and brown marks. And often it's the brown marks that cause us the most distress, because often the acne is gone and you're left with these brown marks that can be there for many, many years. And so for skin of color, I always say tackle it quickly. So Caucasians can actually wait a bit longer, to be honest, because they don't get the hyperpigmentation. But for us, I think we really need to have a good skincare routine from pre-puberty, and then when you're in your early tweens, so that 10 to 13-year age group, you really want to have a good skincare routine at this point, so that when you're coming into, especially with niacinamide in it, so that when you're coming into your teen years, you're not blindsided. And so, you know the key ingredients that you're going to need in your skincare routine. You're going to know what works for you and what doesn't. Now, moving on to diet, there seems to be more studies coming out showing that refined carbohydrate is having a higher impact on acne than even dairy. So a paper published recently on a group of teenagers have shown low GI foods tend to lead to less inflammatory acne. So what is the GI index? The GI index is a ranking of carbohydrates to show how it affects blood glucose levels. So when you have a spike of glucose in the blood, it triggers increased hormone levels, which then increases your sebum production and gives you an acne flare-up. So what type of foods are these? It's all the ones that you love. So it's going to be chocolate, fries, crisps, fizzy drinks. These all tend to have a high GI index. However, it is important to note that still the evidence is limited. This is just the new studies that are coming out. So what you can do is elimination in your diet, where you're removing one thing at a time for a few weeks. So for example, removing dairy for a few weeks and seeing if it has an impact on your skin. Now let's move on to the parts of the face you get acne and what it probably means or is more likely to mean. Starting off with the forehead. Now the forehead tends to be actually from hair products. So whether you're using heavy comedogenic oils, you're using styling gels, or the hair has not been washed, and so sebum is building up and making its way to the forehead. You may also see the same spots on the forehead, on the neck from where your hair is touching, or your back, which is also where the hair is touching. So key ingredients to look for would be cocoa butter, lanolin, olive oil. Yes, JLo, it's not good for you. And then coconut oil, denatured alcohol, wax is another big one. So these ones all are comedogenic. They tend to clog the pores and lead to acne. So if you are, for example, marinating your hair in oil overnight, which is fine, just make sure you're wearing a cap, and so you're sealing any oil into just the hair strands itself and not touching the skin. Moving on to the cheeks. So for men, it tends to be shaving creams. So again, look at your shaving cream, turn it over and check the ingredients list. And for women, it tends to be foundations. Now, foundations are something that I know some of you have asked me to do videos, and I've done a few, but honestly, the vast majority of foundations have comedogenic ingredients in them. They do have denatured alcohol in them. They have talc in them. They have fragrance in them. These things are all not good for acne. And it's a shame, because what you're doing is, even if you're treating your skin and then you're trying to cover it up with foundation, it's almost like there's no point doing the skincare in the first place. But I also understand why you're applying foundation, because you're trying to cover the blemish, and yeah, so it is a bit of a vicious circle. It is something I am looking into in terms of foundations for acne prone skin, but I think I'm gonna need a good 6 months before we actually start talking about it on here. But yeah, so just have a quick look at your foundations. A couple that do actually seem to be okay is, one is the Estee Lauder Double Wear and the other one is the Ordinary. Both of them are non-comedogenic and contain no fragrance. The other thing is dirty pillowcases for cheeks. So make sure you are washing your pillowcase really every 2 to 3 days, especially if you've got product in your hair. And then the other one is screen phones. So when you've got your phones against your face, it's not great, because of something really quite disgusting, and that is fecal matter. So basically, a study done in London revealed 92% of phones had fecal matter on them, which is pretty gross. And they actually asked the candidates in the study how many of them wash their hands after they go to the toilet, and 95% of them said they washed their hands, but 82% of them of their hands had bacteria on them. So I feel like we are lacking in honesty when it comes to hand washing situation. So if we could please up that, that would be great. I mean, I was on holiday the other day. I should be admitting this. I was on holiday, and I'll come out the bathroom and I'm washing my hands, and the other lady comes out the bathroom and she just walks past the sink and starts to leave. And I just said, excuse me, I think you forgot something. God, it's terrible. And then as I came out, she was sitting on the sun lounger right next to me. I didn't even realize that was the same person, but yeah, no, I've got a thing about washing your hands. Right down below. Would you do the same thing? Would you tell people to wash their hands as well, like in the bathrooms, if they're leaving with their disgusting hands, or is that just a doctor-y thing to do? The next one was an interesting one. So it is a spot on the end of your nose, which tends to suggest digestive problems. Yeah, that was an odd one. The next one's very common. It's the chin and the jawline, which tends to be hormonal. It happens more in women than in men, and it tends to flare up around the time of your period. If you are seeing flare-ups, plus you're seeing other symptoms of PCOS, it tends to indicate cysts in the ovaries, which is actually quite common. Okay, so what lifestyle choices can we make? Number one, washing hands is critical, and really everyone around you, make sure they are washing their hands. And number two, try and avoid touching your face to your phone. I think a lot of us are really like sort of texting, WhatsApping, or rather than actually talking on the phone. So I think this is reducing, or just do like loudspeaker, which is what I tend to do anyway. And then the other one is makeup. Try and minimize makeup. Have makeup-free days, but also make sure you're cleaning your makeup brushes. That's really important, because bacteria is like a petri dish on your makeup brush. It tends to be moist, it's warm, it's got bacteria on there. If you're not washing it, it's only going to replicate and get worse and worse. So make sure you're regularly washing your makeup brushes. Pillowcases, you want to change every 3 nights. With your hair care routine, make sure your hair is in a bonnet if you do have any oils or any product in the hair. Be consistent with your skincare, which I'm going to give you the routine in 1 second. You want to make sure you have a low GI diet. Really be critical about what you're eating. Almost write it down so you know what you're putting into your body. The other big one is stress management. So stress makes every skin condition worse, whether it's eczema, whether it's premature aging, whether it's hyperpigmentation, it makes every condition worse, including acne. So reducing stress is so important, whether it's through massage, meditation, whatever it takes for you to stay calm and reduce cortisol levels is going to be good for your acne. So the key actives you want to use in your skincare routine would be niacinamide to control sebum production, vitamin A, so retinol or retinaldehyde, to help you control the hyperkeratinization, so sticky skin cells. Benzoyl peroxide, which is fantastic for killing the bacteria, poisoning it with oxygen. And then of course salicylic acid, which helps to unclog the pore. It's a fat soluble acid and unclogs the pores. So those 4 actives are key for your acne. So for your AM routine, start with either a salicylic acid wash or your benzoyl peroxide wash. So for example, our Trio Blemish Salicylic Acid face wash has got niacinamide in here as well, plus glycerin. So it's hydrating to the skin. So I managed to combine 2 of the 4 actives into the face wash. The Inky List has a very good salicylic acid wash, and I really love Acne Side for their benzoyl peroxide face wash. Step 2 is your salicylic acid leave-on exfoliator. So Paula's Choice is a very good one, and we have one which has also got niacinamide, salicylic acid, anti-inflammatories and glycerin in it too, because what you tend to find is that salicylic acid can be quite drying on the skin, and so that's why we added glycerin. So that's the exfoliator, it's a spray on. Now with your moisturizers, I would keep it light, so gel-based moisturizers with a much higher water content. But moisturizers are still very important. The mistake people make is they think, oh, my skin's so oily, why would I want to put more hydration on it? It's because it leads to a feedback loop. When the skin feels tight, it produces more sebum. So actually you really do need to hydrate the skin. I really like Super Gel from Face Theory. But I wanted a gel moisturizer for acne that had vitamin C in it, azelaic acid for red marks, and antibacterial, so actually help to kill the bacteria. So this is the AM gel, followed by whichever SPF 50 that you like. This is the mineral SPF 50 Inzincable. This is our one. So this one is non-comedogenic. It does have niacinamide in it. I put in also blue shield protection, so blue light protection, so it helps you from devices, and it has no white cast and it's anti-inflammatory, but it does give you a dewy finish. So what I tend to do with this is I'm wearing it today, I will matte the T-zone and the jawline with translucent powder so that I keep the dewiness on the cheekbone, on the high points, but I matte the rest. So that's how I use our Inzincable. And in the evening, it's really simple. It's the same thing again. It's your face wash, it's your 2% salicylic acid exfoliator leave-on, and then it's your gel moisturizer at nighttime. So there wasn't a gel moisturizer that had tyrosinase inhibitors in it. So I put in all your tyrosinase inhibitors, including your vitamin A, at nighttime. That's why it comes out a little bit of a yellow gel. And you apply this one on top, so it helps with the red marks or brown marks and the acne. If you feel like this is quite not enough and you want more hydration, you can always pop on a fragrance-free moisturizer on top, like Cera-Pep Brightening Moisturizer, or like Cetraben, CeraVe. These are all very hydrating moisturizers. So really listen to your skin, because everyone's skin is different and it's not one size fits all. Some people need more hydration, some people need less, and it really comes down to a little bit of trial and error. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye.